Today I'm going to share with you guys 4 tips of how you can improve your object source lighting.
That the entirety of the cosmos is accessible to each and every individual's mind, connecting to the great mind, the great spirit.
Welcome back to the channel, collectors. So today we'll be sharing with you guys 4 tips of how you can take your object source lighting to the next level. So if you're ready, let us begin. So first and foremost today, I'm going to be using the Hellsbane from Massive Darkness to illustrate my point. I feel that the Massive Darkness Hellsbane is really good to illustrate this point because I'm selectively putting a light source within the model, which is the only light source which I'll be painting with. So it will be very useful for you to use this as a reference for your future object source lighting projects. So the first tip I'm going to talk about is color temperature. So why color temperature is important? First and foremost, you got to decide what color is this light emitting from the object. So for this example, I'll be using red-orange light emitting from his chest and his eyes, so to emulate sort of like a burning effect underneath his skin. So why color temperature is important is that the base color needs to contrast with the color temperature so it can bring out the warmth or coolness that the light is emitting. So I'm going to be base coating the entire miniature in a green-brown mix. As you guys can see in the color palette right here, green is the complementary color of red. So that's why I'm using the extreme ends to try to illustrate the warmth and the redness that is coming out from his chest. So in the color temperature spectrum, red and orange are really warm colors, whereas green relatively is cool, which is why I'm going to use this cool green color as a canvas to portray the warm red object source lighting on this miniature to ensure that the glow looks as convincing as ever. So after color temperature, the next point I'm going to talk about is color distribution. So we've talked about color temperature and we are going to contrast the red with this green-brown base. But what's going to be next? We're going to talk about the strength and the distribution of the color. As you guys can see, I've been mixing this red-brown color and I'm going to use this red-brown color to very roughly plot out the area of influence for the object source lighting. I always call this area of influence because it's beyond where the light will hit, but where the color temperature will be influenced by the object source lighting. So as you see, I'm very generously spreading it all over the chest, the face, and the upper parts of the thighs because those are the areas which will be influenced by the object source lighting. Take note that I'm not paying particular attention to the sculpted details yet, rather I'm just paying attention to the exposed planes. So in the color distribution, we're also going to talk about the ratio of colors being used. We're going to use 3 main warm colors in this, namely red, orange and yellow. So in object source lighting, do we evenly place out these 3 colors, and does that make it look the most convincing? For me, I don't think that using an even distribution will give the most convincing color effect. As mentioned in my color composition video right here, I'm quite dependent on using the same ratios throughout. So I use the ratio of 6 to 3 to 1. Alright, so even for my object source lightings, I'm going to use 6 as red, 3 as orange, and 1 as yellow. As you guys can see in the final results right here in this Hellsbane which I'm painting right now. So color distribution is really important to give a very convincing object source lighting effect. And if you want to select colors for your object source lighting, you can always select colors using the color wheel right here. So in the color wheel, you just need to look at the analogous colors where you can select 3 colors next to each other, and these 3 colors will be the colors used in the colors distribution. So next most important thing would be value distribution. Just with color distribution, I like to use my value distribution with the same ratio, 6 to 3 to 1, as you guys can see in the black and white image right here. So in this black and white image right here, you can see that the highlights would be the ratio of 1, which is the middle of the chest, and then the midtones would be 3, where you can see the orange influence, and 6, where you sort of like this red base layer thing to sort of illuminate and show the area of influence. So if you want to learn more about values, you can check out my understanding values videos right here, where I talk a lot more in depth about values. So last but not least, we're going to talk about volume understanding. Volume understanding is important because we're painting a light source in the middle of the chest, and this we need to make sure that the area around the light source behaves the way that they do to make sure that the light source is as convincing as possible. So we're going to be highlighting the area around the Hellsbane, as you guys can see in the video, about the same way as how you'll be highlighting the spheres, because most of the muscles tend to look like an elongated sphere effect. So understanding volumes is very important because we want to make sure that every single volume is well highlighted and it's coherent to the light source that we have created in the middle of the chest. So what do you think about these 4 tips of how to improve your object source lighting? Do you find them really useful? Let me know in the comments below, alright? You guys know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all the other stuff, because we post miniature painting videos every day, so you don't want to miss out. Alright, so if you can afford it, do head on to our Patreon and become a Patreon right now. So patrons get early access to many of my tutorials, and you guys get to interact with me so that we get to become better miniature painters together. I'd like to thank my patrons for allowing me to do this, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you!